Wow, who was she talking about? I like to meet that guy. Well, this is going to be an important panel. Actually, they all are. We got a few heavyweights on this panel, and I'm actually quite honored to be moderating this panel because the folks that you're going to meet and hear from have a combined, perhaps a half a century of combined experience promoting books, dealing in all forms of media, from every aspect. So in terms of marketing your book, they're going to have all the bases covered, I guarantee that.
And when he told me that, I didn't know anyone who had self-published. I knew no one in the business per se. And I got a book on self-publishing and read it front to cover as if it was my literary Bible, and followed every step. You know, where to go get the ISBN, where to, file the copyright, where to do this, where to do that. And when they came in the door, 2,000 copies lining the hallway of my house, he's like, this is April, mind you. He's like, they're going to be here till Christmas, and we might have to line the walls with them. I was like, you made me do this. And I was scared. I truly, truly was scared.
I worked on Bling, by the way. Bling by Erica Kennedy. That was like my pride and joy too. That was the first time that I worked with something from the manuscript page and reading it and saying, this is going to be a New York Times bestseller. I am convinced of it. And just doing it, laying all of the groundwork for it. Miramax hired us and we did it from soup to nuts. And so that was my first experience being able to do that by myself.
But they're not black like me. You understand the difference? They don't come where I come from. Doesn't mean that I'm more qualified to represent black people or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. I don't want that whole Barack Obama controversy, okay? I don't believe, oh, you black, but you, I don't want to get that. But they were not black like me.
Wait, I might say, when I came out with Most Dangerous Gang in America, because of Sean Bell, I thought I was going to sell about 100,000 copies of that book. I hired Marvin Brittle, a big agency called Publicist. I was paying $8,000 a month for a publicist. It didn't go anywhere, but I also had the credit line extended to me for $500,000 from my printer in case I need it. And you can't do that unless you show financial records. This is what I've done. This is what I anticipate on doing. I'm not saying just because the money is available to you to go out and use it. No, you have to use judgment. Because what I did, I printed 5,000 books like I usually do. Sat around for about a month and waited to see how many back.
And they said, well, we'd like to propose something different. And they said, how about you write 4 new books that you've not published, or you present to us 4 new books that you have not published, and we give you a major distribution for your books that you've already published. And hence was the biggest debut book deal in the history of the world. And that's a 14-book deal with St. Martin's Press that I got $250,000 for up front. Never been done before, unless you're Monica Lewinsky.
Any time to really look at something and say, all right, this sells because the cover looks this way, or this is organized in that manner. I was just a writer, and I enjoyed the craft, so I studied the craft in that manner. But it's more so than just the quality of your work, because 90%, I mean, I can speak to a distributor, and the distributor will tell me that when they have vendors or people come in, 90 to 95% of those sales are based off of cover,
Don't let other authors at these publishing houses look at you in a condescending fashion because you're self-published, because some of them act like rock stars, and it gets on my damn nerves. I hate to say it. It's like, oh, I'm with Simon & Schuster, I'm with this. I'm like, shut up. Stuff just like I am, Don't let them look at you in a condescending fashion, because they had to start in places too. All right?
Listen,
and I came over to New York having worked in the States and decided I would launch here. So the thing that I understood though was I understood media, and I describe myself as a creative marketer. So I don't do anything by convention, and I think that's what the self-publishing industry has on the mainstream publishing industry, is that a lot of times, because people are starting out by not knowing the rules, they just do things that work. And in doing things that work, they discover successes that haven't been experienced in the mainstream publishing world. And then the mainstream publishing world picks up the baton of the success of the self-publishing industry.
A dealership is not going to say there's a way to finance a car and not use your information. So all these different things that we're talking about as regards to financing and having a basis is one of the things that we hone on, because there's just a few dynamics, but there's only a certain crowd of people that's going to be successful. Every 8 minutes of business files for bankruptcy. Every 3 minutes of business incorporated, according to Dun & Bradstreet. So the odds are against all of us. It's all about who's going to survive.
Publish it, get published. I've been an editorial director. I've been an editor for 30 years in trade publishing. Worked at the biggest houses, Putnam, HarperCollins, you name it. So I wrote a book. It was perfect, right? I gave it to my managing editor, and she sent me back the first chapter as a sort of test. I mean, I'm not kidding you, I almost fainted. It was covered with red marks in Word, you know, the way they do it, and I thought, oh my God. And I looked at it, and she was right, because if I can say, you know, something in 20 words, I'll say it in 40. And she said, you know, you condense. I used phrases that other people might not know, that were so in-house publishing. And she helped the book, and it was a better book for it. So nobody's perfect. Somebody said earlier about ego. I always say put your ego on the shelf so that your book won't be.